Greetings, welcome to Aquarius. As you see, this week we're devoting our entire programme to the theme of Covent Garden. A film about Covent Garden is our offering for today, the village in the heart of our capital city. It's a lively, cheerful film which I think will be of interest to you wherever you live in these British Isles, because what's happening at Covent Garden and what's going to happen there can be taken as a sort of symbol of the problems which crop up anywhere when a city has to face up to the needs of modern society and its demand for better housing, faster moving traffic, cleaner air and so on. Now, our film is about people, not projects, about life today, not dreams of tomorrow. But all the same, I think we ought to perhaps give you a little bit of the background to the very complex social planning situation. It all stems from the fact that, as you probably know already, next year the Covent Garden fruit and vegetable market is moving to new premises, now being built south of the Thames between Chelsea Bridge and Vauxhall Bridge at 9 Elms. It's a move to make the operation of the market more efficient with the introduction of modern handling methods, and also it will relieve the traffic congestion, make the market more accessible to the huge juggernauts, those big lorries which are now rolling in from the common market on the continent. So the question is, what will happen when the Covent Garden market moves? A market which has been in this area a few yards north of the Thames for 300 years, expanding from the open space in front of the church, designed by the architect Inigo Jones, expanding to fill the piazza and the side streets beyond, those streets which in the 18th century were the noisy link between the old city and the new developing West End. Now, over the years, the Covent Garden market area has developed its own community, its own traditions. And as I say, with the market gone, what will happen to the areas all around it? In 1968, the Greater London Council, GLC, announced a draft plan for an area reaching from High Holborn, I've got the map here so I can show you, from High Holborn in the north to the Strand down here in the south, from Charing Cross Road over there to the old Drury Lane Theatre complex in the east. It was a plan which envisaged the wholesale purchase of huge areas of immensely valuable land and property. A plan which would mean knocking down very many buildings, partly to put up new flats and partly to make way for new roads. For example, the plan would mean turning this lovely little lane, Maiden Lane, down here into a dual carriageway which would run parallel with the Strand further down in the other direction for the traffic. The planners tell us that there's no intention of knocking everything down willy-nilly. The Royal Opera House, for example, which has stood at the top of Bow Street for over 100 years, that will be preserved, even though other parts of the area will be redeveloped, and very pretty too they'll be, if you can believe these artists' impressions. They'll be providing new shopping precincts, hotels and housing. But this plan aroused immense controversy. Its critics, which include a very lively local residents' association, claim that in leasing off acquired land to developers, Covent Garden would be turned into a speculator's paradise. In uprooting people and rehousing them elsewhere, it would be breaking up a living community, and in moving businesses and landmarks, the plan would ruin the character of a whole area. A year ago, a public inquiry was set up at the request of Mr. Peter Walker, the Minister of State for the Department of the Environment, and his approval must be given to the plan before it can go ahead, and that approval, that result, is still being awaited. Meanwhile, a big bombshell was dropped 3 months ago when Lady Dartmouth, chairman of the GLC's First Development Committee, resigned on the very issue, Covent Garden's planning, declaring that this project was on too large a scale. But notwithstanding the fate of the plan, the area is in any case already changing. That the market is going to move is an irreversible fact, and piecemeal redevelopment is already happening. The old Covent Garden is disappearing forever, come what may. And we decided in Aquarius to make a record of Covent Garden as it is now, in the autumn of '72. If you were to have spent the day in the market yourself, the day and the night, these are the sort of characters, the traditions, the trades, and the mood that you might have encountered. The film is directed by Derek Bailey, and he it is too who narrates the story, ticking off 24 hours in the life, or is it the death, of Britain's most uncommon market.
Coming straight and right up. Come on.
Covent Garden, 5 o'clock in the morning.
Come on, right back.
Opening time. The Essex Serpent, King Street, landlord Phil Maron.
Well, I start 4:30 in the morning. Get organised, ready to open at 5. The most of the drinks are hot drinks, rum and coffee, scotch and tea, brandy and coffee.
You'll be so sick when you come back.
Fire salesmen usually use the saloon bar. Fourth is the market bar.
Who's got the money out of you? Like I have. Like it's short of you. Well, got over the top here.
In the flower market, trading starts before dawn, and it goes on into the daylight, while they still sleep under the portico of St. Paul's Church.
Come on, for sake, get it in here. What kind of... In here, it's a funny. In here, don't about in here.
Down in Catherine Street, vehicle minder for the flower market, Johnny Cracknell, known to all as Junior.
Where'd you get your licence from? Round Badgy Dog's Home.
If you take the fall out of the word we use, you see, it's only a form of speech. It's just a figure of phrase. I mean, you can go in the office and the man says to you, oh, damn it. Well, it's just the same as oh,
Come down in, oh, more. That's the game now, cool.
By 6 o'clock, the growers are in from the country, selling from their lorries in the market square.
Sorry, all I've got those Millers, I've got about 15 left.
And in the cupboard market, the foreign fruit and vegetables.
Number 5, 60 pence to you. One for you, one for the mistress.
Vehicle minder number 30. He's Mr. Michael Toomey, retired porter. His pitch isn't 100 yards from where he was born.
I had the pleasure of seeing the Duke of Edinburgh, who came here, and the costermongers that was round about said, hello, Dukey, how's the old lady? All right? The old lady all right, Dukey? Oh, doing fine. Where should we put your tomatoes? In the boot, Dukey?
It's 7 o'clock at Jim Ryan's pub, The White Lion. But to get a drink, you're supposed to be on business.
Yeah, you just take a person on face value. If he says he's a buyer in the market, well, you serve him. You can't ask for credentials every time a person comes in.
Each of the market pubs has a special character of its own.
And we've got a little pub there, and there's a few of them queer boys in there, you know. They're a cart on. And I've got the powder puff here. yeah, powder it up there.
Now the rush to get the goods out of the market. When the market moves to its new home, they'll be using conveyors and forklift trucks. But in the meantime, it's manpower. George Barnes from King's Cross. Little Connie Colwich from Clapham.
Of course, I'm right in. Don't about it.
At 8 o'clock, Mr. Rolf Tendberg arrives to work in the garden, but not in the market. In the small back streets, there are a number of old established firms who have defied the march of time. Old buildings still housing ancient crafts. Books you can judge by the cover, hand-sewn, bound in soft Morocco, or marbled calf, leather that is stained and patterned as iron salts and water penetrate a coating of white of egg. It's probably the last workshop in the country where this is done.
one has to watch for the rainy days to see that the wind doesn't blow a little bit of rain under the roof or around the edges of the windows. But apart from that, there's no reason at all why we shouldn't carry on in this building. And after all, if we knew that we were going to stay here, we could put things like that to rights quite easily.
About 8:30, Fred Collins opens his hardware shop in Earlham Street. It was first established by great-grandfather Fred, the elastic glue manufacturer. Grandfather and father were both Fred too. And now Fred has been joined by his son, Fred. And Fred Jr. has a 3-year-old son, Fred. And at 8:30, Mr. Hatch the verger walks round from his flat and opens the gates of St. Paul's churchyard.
Normally I let people come into the church quietly and do as they wish. There are a few that have had too much to drink and they had to gently and persuasively be got rid of. But the powers that be think they're all God's children, that if I had my way I would treat it otherwise. I'd put a hose on them. Only yesterday I was told by a young man that I was an official, old so-and-so, and why did this have to happen? And I said, well, it is a graveyard. You know, he said, what does that mean? I said, well, you went to school. He said, yes, I went to university. And I said, Boston would have done you more good. And that is perfectly true, and it only happened yesterday. His manner was just, you know, I was a silly old so-and-so, which I may be, but...
Say it about God.
9 a.m. closing time at the Essex Serpent. At 9, Pam Moore gets the traditional market welcome as she walks to work from the tube. Lady Georgina Coleridge as chauffeur drops her in Maiden Lane, and Kenneth Clark comes in from Hampstead and finds a meter. Pam works in a photographer's studio in the converted basement of the Floral Hall.
Georgina Coleridge. Morning.
Lady Georgina, journalist, editor and publisher to one of the many publishing houses in the area.
Oh, do. Psyche's just rung about the Homes and Gardens one.
Kenneth Clark is a potter in Dryden Street.
I seem to have spent a life of moving from one studio to the other. You know, demolition squads moving in, me moving out. We were looking desperately for somewhere, and I assumed we would have to go well out of town, but the only place that came up at the critical moment was this place right in the centre of London. And there was a whole complex of architects, designers, jewellers and people have moved in for the next 8 years or so, and this obviously will, we know, it may help them, it may help us. It's like the old Street of the Goldsmiths in the Far Eastern market. You know, if you wanted anything in gold, you went to the Street of the Goldsmiths, or you went to the Street of the Silversmiths. And I think it's much the same here. We're hoping, quite honestly, that we will not have to move.
While across the way at the top of Longacre, the old Oddham's Press building comes down to make way for redevelopment.
Right, come on. Keep on the other one, Don, on the other one.
Derek Hardcastle, one of the beadles of the Covent Garden Market Authority. They try to keep the traffic moving.
All right, Dave. Will you get in there?
The bags are in for 2 of us to get in, you know?
No, the back has been here all night long now. Off.
Many families have worked in the garden for generations, but Joe Campbell's a newcomer. He came 5 years ago from Berwick Street Market in Soho.
We'll get that fucking man out.
No, we ain't.
Don't worry about him
down here, they got no the in the world.
There is no bad people around Covent Garden. They're all one genuine people. You get a very good with them. When I was in Covent Garden, I feel proud with the boys them around there because they all have a joke. They call me names, anything, but I'm enjoyed. I enjoy.
You know what you're doing up there, down there. What about it over there? He's a social fella over there. Yeah, let's get it out of it. You have to pull along and then come back.
Continental juggernauts, greengrocers' vans, refrigerated containers, and piecework-paid porters and their trolleys all converging, trying to get in, trying to get out. There's a complaint they call Covent Garden aggro, when it all seems to be impossible. Modernisation and move must come. But up in Neal Street at Ellen Keeley's, they still make and repair barrows and trolleys. The Keeleys left Ireland in the great famine of the 1850s, and Terry O'Doherty is the third generation of the family.
While they want these barrows and while they want these stores, we'll make them for hire. And we don't want to leave Covent Garden. We've been here for over 140 years, and as far as we're concerned, we're going to stay here.
Every day about 10:30, Mr. Baron Werner, retired market worker, drops into Keeley's.
I spend my time by coming into the Keeley's and see them making the barrows and trolleys. We sit there in the morning, have a nice cup of tea and some donuts, and they all come round. They are some great characters, especially one who they call Cracker Jack.
Look at his face, look. Never mind, mate. Be happy and merry and gay. You got to be happy and laugh. Right, away we go.
You see, I am a widower, and instead of looking at four walls, I spend my time every morning in Covent Garden till somewhere about 11. If you don't keep me any longer, then I'll go home.
The flower market closes. The Essex Serpent opens up again. Frank Walker walks down to his work in Maiden Lane. And most days about this time, Lady Georgina walks through the market to attend a meeting in Longacre.
I wouldn't dream of not walking. I mean, it's a filthy day. I've got boots on. I walk through the market because I like to keep near the smell of the flowers and the smell of the vegetables. And you get a wonderful picture of colour, the green of the apples. You get those dark green watermelons, and then you get the yellow ones coming in and the peaches. And they lay them out so beautifully. They've got a great artistic sense.
And costermonger John Cracker Jack Dunford heads for his stand over in Oxford Street.
If I'm feeling a bit low, I march into Covent Garden. You soon cheer up. I used to always walk down from the tube station and walk through. And when the miniskirts first came in, this must be about 8 or 9 years ago now, people weren't so used to the fat legs that go with them. And there was a girl in a very bright green cotton dress and rather red, enormous legs. And one of my Covent Garden friends touched me by the arm and said, "What a lot of meat and no veg." I've always thought of these, I see any fat legs.
Yes, I've had some real good times in Covent Garden. And I said to my boy, I'll go if I crawl there.
Mr. and Mrs. Mondano and their poodle live in a flat in Longacre. Each day about midday, they stroll round the corner into Mercer Street, where midway between the Royal Opera House Covent Garden and the theatres of Shaftesbury Avenue, Frederick Freed makes ballet shoes.
We make about 5,000 to 6,000 pairs a week. That's nearly 250,000 pair a year. Doesn't supply the demand. absolutely overwhelmed with, you know, from every country of the world. Margot Fontaine can wear out 3 pairs of shoes in one performance. The companies order, they do a tour, 200 pairs for each girl. But if we moved out of the place, it would be disastrous for us. So that's the most important thing for us, to be on the spot. It's like a surgery, you know what I mean? When a person's got foot trouble, they come in, they couldn't go miles out, they come in between performances, you see.
The Mercer's Arms, on the corner of Shelton Street and Mercer Street. Lunchtime is the busiest for Collins and Son in Earlham Street.
What else, sir?
2 pound and 2-inch wires. 2-inch wire. Well, we've got a peculiar system of our own, you see. It's an untidy-looking shop to most people, but we've been here so long that we work on a system whereby we know one thing refers to the next. So no matter what you ask for, even if we have to crawl around the floor, we eventually find it, Derek. And people find it rather amusing, but also entertaining to come here. In fact, some think it's as good as the Palladium almost. But we're all happy with our customers, and they all enjoy coming here, and we make a fair living. And everybody is so friendly here that why they want to knock the bloody place down.
In Maiden Lane, the lunchtime mass bell tolls. And just across the road from Christchurch, Frank Walker sets to work in Rules, the oldest restaurant in London.
Morning, sir.
Hello, Frank. How are you, Frank?
All right.
Looks all very fat.
That's the mid-pub. Oh, not quite as much as that.
At the Mercer's Arms, the Mendanos have their lunchtime drink.
I've been hooked up with him for 50 years. Can you find me a little spring chicken with plenty of money and a walk?
The Mercer's, a delightful Victorian pub with carved mahogany, painted tiles and engraved glass. And what's more, a free house. But if you're thinking of looking for it, forget it. It's gone already.
Aquarius Part 2, production number 1550, date recording 26/10/72, take 1.
In the afternoon, in his flat in Betterton Street, Junior Cracknell settles down to enjoy home comforts. But some of the garden is still working. Mr. Morasi's grandfather came from Switzerland in 1896 to make copper pans for the hotels and restaurants of the West End, in this little workshop in Neal Street. For the Ritz, the Berkeley, and the Savoy, they've got to be copper, and they must be tin lined. And over in Neal's yard, Robert White & Sons armourers, at work on 72 suits of armour for an American college marching band.
Well, the craziest sort of, I think, is making breastplates for about eight strippers. 8 girls, all different sizes. Breastplates, that was an interesting job. I've also done flexible panties and bras for, that was during the Crazy Gang period.
And if a Shakespearean sword snaps in Shaftesbury Avenue, it'll be repaired and back on stage within half an hour, they claim.
Well, here in Jamaica, you get the best in Covent Garden. I mean, everything would come fresh and nice and everybody has good things here. Even the banana from the West Indies, you come to Covent Garden, you get a good, nice green banana or a ripe banana. You all feel happy.
With the log jam of lorries temporarily gone and the streets deserted, Kenneth Clark nips out to snatch free parking in the West End. At about 3:30, Mrs. Beverly Gavin sets off from her flat in Block E, Peabody Buildings, Bedfordbury, just up from Charing Cross.
I used to walk through the market every morning, and the porters, the same as they do to my children now, they used to give you the odd bits of fruit and the apple. You never went to school without an apple in your hand. And they do exactly the same for my children, but of course my children's children won't have that because it'll all be trendy boutiques. It won't be anything like that.
Beverly is one of the most active members of the Covent Garden Community Association, formed to fight the Greater London Council plans. Every week she distributes a news sheet round the homes in Macklin Street and Drury Lane. The garden is her village. Her mother, grandmother, aunts and uncles all live there, and she just doesn't want to leave.
It's a mass exodus. People are going, you know, by the day. They already know that the ship's going down, so they're all leaving, you know, promptly. It's a great pity because the more people move out, the weaker our cause become because we can only fight when there's a number of us. And the more of the old people, I mean, the people who've been here a long time, not the people who've only just moved in 18 months and owned some harp shop or something, but somebody who's been here a long time, the more people move out, the weaker we become because there's less of us to fight. And that's what they don't realise. When you beg them to stay and say to them, well, if you hang on long enough, they'll have to give you what you want. They say, oh, well, you know, we can't fight the big boys. We haven't got the money they have. Everything comes down to money after all. And we say, well, it's not just a question of money. You're here first. Let them try and come and get us out.
Just off Bow Street in Crown Court, Mrs. Crumpton gets back from work about 4. Her husband can't get about a lot, so she started these window boxes.
We won quite a few silver cups.
2, actually. We won one for the best window box display in City of Westminster, and that. And then we won the
Lovibond Cup.
Joseph Lovibond trophy. And the other one was for the City of Westminster as well. And what's his name? Who we presented it to you?
Oh, Horbalicia.
Horbalicia. She went into the City Hall, Westminster.
We just love flowers. We love flowers. And but why we don't get silver cups now, we get certificates each.
The Crumptons were married across the market in St. Paul's Church. In Shelton Street, Coming Chin, the hardware store, established 250 years ago, have a customer from across the road.
And how many extra keys do you want?
I'd like 4 to 1
and 3 to the other.
Fred Collins, Senior.
Can you also do me a yell number 1?
Yale number 1, yes, certainly.
We're very friendly with Comingings. We work together very well, we help one another, and we don't cut one another's throats, we all mix in together. And we find it's much better that way. It's rushing you a bit.
Make it 2 o'clock, sir.
Yes, all right, we'll play together.
Thank you very
How
much.
much obliged to you?
Okay,
I'll
sir.
see you tomorrow at 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock, sir. Thank you, sir.
Cheerio, boys. See you tomorrow.
The craftsmen in the workshops and the small streets nearby finish their work for the day. And a last-minute order is rushed from Frederick Freet's factory across the market and through Goodwin's Court, an 18th century lane of literary agents and publicists, to Frederick Freet's shop in St. Martin's Lane. And in the market square, the first of the lorries rolls in. The stars arrive at the Royal Opera House. Joe Ketley, the stage doorkeeper, has kept a space for Josephine Vesey's car in Floral Street. Joe's been with the Opera House for 25 years, but he hasn't managed to see a show right through yet.
Stan, we might check the dressing room for one, but those guys used it yet. Please don't. Thank you.
I'm worried about you.
How are you?
Very well.
Evening, John. All the best for this evening.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All the best, John. All right.
That's for my
Stage, please, now. Urgent. Oh, if you get Stella before me, let her know that John Vickers is in, would you?
He loves his fishes, don't you? Oh, bless him. I live in a flat, we can't keep cats. And same with me. Oh, well, Mrs. Bennett. Yes, oh yes, I always compete on Christmas Day. I'm the only one that's round at Christmas Day, everybody's away. Yes, he has a... eat this as well, Jojo. He's finished rabbit. I did treat him to rabbit at Christmas. I love rabbit. Oh, don't you follow us, Jojo? You'll get run over. We're going to leave his dish. Oh, Jojo. One night, Jojo. One night. One night, Jojo. One night. One night.
At 8 o'clock in the evening, Percy Hall, 55 years in the garden, opens the gates of the flower market. At this stage, they bring in just the pot plants. It's too early for the cut flowers.
I've had occasions to ask a certain conductor that it's time he should be on in the pit, you know. Constant Lambert. I knew he was over here, so I came across him and said, excuse me, sir, but they're ready for you and the curtain's about to go up. He said, well, I'll have to wait. He said, would you mind buying me a gin and tonic and I'll see you at the end?
No. I finish at 5. I'm at 5:30. I'm in bed at 5:45. I upset the wife. So, you know, I get up at 10:15, have my breakfast, then go back to bed again till 4. And I generally leave home about 10 minutes past 7 to get here by 8 o'clock. Monday night, I was waiting 3/4 of an hour for a number 11 bus.
A person who came there and asked if she could have an audition. And I told her the usual procedure is to write in. I said, but what do you want an audition for? Is it for dancing or is it for singing? She says, no, I want to be a ballerina and I'll prove it. And she started dancing and lifted up her clothes and she's got nothing on underneath. I've never bought veg or fruit all the years I've worked here. But it's not just because I get them tickets for the opera or ballet. It's just that they get to know me as a character, working for Covent Garden, and me knowing them as working in the market.
Every night about 9, Bridget Phillips leaves number 37 Neal Street and Mary Callan number 17 Shorts Gardens.
Get down.
And they head for the Cross Keys round the corner in Endrell Street. In the Cross Keys, Nell Johnson from Betterton Street across the way joins them.
What about the kippers when Covent Garden strike was on 1926? Pair of kippers, 3 halfpence. 3 halfpence. I met Elf Johnson on the stairs called Dressy, so I'm going out selling, ain't I? He said, anything to eat? I said, pair of kippers up there. Time he gets up, the cat's had them. It's true. The cat was under the bed, got hold of the cat, threw it out the window. Time he got down, the cat was up the door. Trying to get in. Yeah. He done the cat in. He killed the cat.
About 10, the ladies sang.
I'm always early, never late, with a nice cup of tea and a round of toast. The sports in life and the money most.
This was their response to the idea of moving to another area.
Why should we leave and go back through Bloomsbury? Where we live on a pound of week.
And they sang this for Lady Dartmouth. At 11 o'clock, Eddie Mole is one of the first to start work in the flower market.
Yeah? We're all teamed together like the ivy. They won't chuck us out, we'll chuck them out first. Oh, they'll move Covent Garden, but they won't move so. Good night. All right. Good night. Good night, girl. Already dark on the other common. My old man had told her the van and don't dilly-dally on the way. Have a look now.
Good night.
Well, you just close up and check your tills and leave your bar fairly clean in the morning. Get up, have something to eat,
have a chat with the wife for 5 minutes and off to bed.
Peace at last for Phil Marin of the Essex Serpent.
All right, you with me?
By midnight, the market's in full swing again. There are other people not working out in the night in the market.
I was doing Costa Currency at one time, you know. You hardly believe it, will you? Yeah, I was doing Costa Currency at one time, you know. But anyway, it doesn't matter about that. That's all in the past, you see. It's in the past now, you know. You couldn't give me the price of sausage sandwich now, could you, son?
Goes up.
The parking may be free, but it has its hazards. Eddie Mole works through the night to set up a display. His father and his grandfather before him worked in the market.
Oh, Jesus Christ, God!
I like Gladiola. Comes up nice, it lasts fair size. Pop plants, I reckon, are the best. The violet. Cut stuff dies off too quick.
In the dead of the night, a lull. Plenty of people use the all-night cafes. They're open to anyone.
I'll shake hands with you. I'm a gypsy, and I wish you all the gypsy luck in the world.
At 4 a.m., Junior Cracknell is on his way to work. He walks down to Catherine Street past Drury Lane Theatre.
The atmosphere around here now is really an eyesore to anybody to come. I mean, Covent Garden used to be a marvellous thing, but now it's an eyesore. It's in the way, Covent Garden. Yeah, if you think of the years that it's been there and the good place it's been, to be thrown away, in fact, it's like throwing a bit of old England away, if you want the truth.
Covent Garden, 5 a.m.
Down in Covent Garden, carrying sets of taters on your back. No more corduroys or old now boots when I turn I'm missing out. I've turned up all my cost about. throw away the end of my cigar. Sure, when I'm out walking overground, taking the shell, sure they come the blokes that don't know where they are. But in the Gross Keys.